Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Welcome to 2022, first stream of 2022. How are you guys doing? Who is in the house? Let's see straight away who is in the house for this lovely stream. This is not the Inter versus Bologna preview stream. We'll do that tomorrow. Today is the opening of the transfer market window, the January transfer market window. We're just going to talk about all the transfer related news. That that's what happens when the transfer window opens. Even when the transfer window isn't open, there's lots of rumors. But we gotta talk about it. You guys know me. I believe probably about 10% of the news that come out. I think 90% of them are fluff or just filler to try to sell things and fill newspapers, fill websites. But it makes for interesting conversation. And we'll see what you guys think of some of the players that we're linked with, of course. And yeah, of course, we got to talk about Andre Onana today in Milan. But yeah, we'll get to all of that. Let me see who is in the house and give a shout out. First of all, the good news bearer. Thank you, Mobile. I bring whatever news. If it's bad, I bring the bad news. If it's good news, I bring the good news. So I'm just a news bearer. I wouldn't say I'm a good news bearer. Nicola in the house says Happy New Year to everyone. Yeah, thank you very much. Finally secure Onana. Yes, sir. By the way, Handanovic to Spurs is getting close. Yeah, I saw the links today with Handanovic to Spurs. And I think once again, when Conte went to Spurs, I think it's just a case of throwing it out there. Any type of player linking it to Conte, to Spurs now. I don't know how much truth there is into that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it could make sense for Handanovic to go there as a kind of a backup. But if he wants to be a backup, you could just do that Inter. So I don't see really too much what could really happen there. I don't know what the Spurs backup keeper position is. I know Joe Hart was there a little while back. I don't know who's there. And yeah, they got Golini now. So yeah, they got Luis Golini. So where's Handanovic going to fit in all that? Unless Golini is a loan with an option, which is he's probably going to go back to Atalanta. I doubt they'll take that option with Golini. So yeah, maybe I don't know. We'll see. Brother, Happy New Year, brother. Massimo, what's up? What's up, my channel members? Thank you very much for joining me. Tariq in the house, Tommy, my guy in the house. Olua Sharma in the cut. Yeah, you're enjoying my Niger content on Twitter. I've been seeing Boca Diop in the house as well. What's up, brother? Eduardo, what's up? Hey, we got everyone. We got all the different time zones in the house today. Yeah, happy to see Onana is ours and wishing Handa stays as a mentor. I think that potential, dynamic of having Andanovic still there at the club, kind of mentoring and bringing through Onana, being there in case Onana isn't quite ready for the straight away. I think that's the ideal proposition for me in my ideal world, really. Who else we got? We got Mohammed in the house. KJ says he found my channel through Mike. So Michael talks football. Nice. Yeah, it was a good stream that we did together. Talking Serie A. Sup Dom, Happy New Year to you as well. Huedi in the house. What's up, brother? Benjamin, of course, from Palo Alto. Very nice. Cycling to work. Nice. And I don't think. I'm not sure that's the usual way of listening into my videos usually, but I like it. What's up, Chris? What's up? All good here, brother. Haven't seen you in a whole year. Yeah. Fair enough. You gotta drop the dad jokes in. What's up, Jamo? Red Trans in the house as well. Welcome, Onana. Onanaovic, Yanis says. Nice. I like that combination of words. Actually, to the channel members, I'm gonna throw it out, guys. So today's topic for conversation, of course, is the January window. But I also want to talk about the so I've got my Serie A team of the season until now. I'm going to talk about that, and then I also want to do the Inter Players Awards, mid-season awards until now. Like best player, best goal, all that kind of stuff. So you guys can throw it out. So you got those three choices. Shall we get into transfer news first? Shall we go into Serie A team of the season until now, or shall we get into Inter mid-season awards? I'm going to throw it out to the channel members, because I don't really have too many like perks and stuff that I do with the channel members and stuff with the supporting the channel, but I want to give them some sort of power today. So Massimo, Tommy, Bokar, Eduardo, if anyone else is in the house, you guys got the power to decide what shall I go into first, because yeah, interesting topics to talk about. See what you guys are asking about in the chat. It was Onana started. No, Onana is not coming. So yeah, Onana. Well, let's cover off the Onana thing first. So Onana is a done deal in terms of we've known for a while that was pretty much 99% done, but he came to do his medicals. But it's not for January. He's going to be at the end of the season. He's going to sign a 5-year 5-year contract doing so he did his medical today, so the usual process, getting it out of the way, the formal stuff, making sure that physically he's fine, he's get checked over, and then it's probably never going to be officially announced until probably February, because he's still contracted to Ajax, and I think after this January window is open, usually they get announced that he's gonna sign for Inter at the end of the season or at the start of next season. So yeah, he's definitely not going to be playing on Thursday. Yeah, of course, the Onana, what's my name? Onana, what's my name? I wonder if that's going to be the chants in the San Siro as well, in the stadium when he plays or when he starts when he starts for Inter. What's up, Alex? Are we starting Toro Tuku against Bologna? I mean, I'm going to do my preview tomorrow, but I think in the predicted lineups at the moment, it's Alexi starting up there. I think Correa has just come back from an injury, so I doubt he's going to be started straight away after the injury. I think he's going to be eased in to the team. Sean asks, why get Onana, keep Andanovic, and have Radu, Cordas, and Stankovic out on loan? Well, I mean, we need, like, Handanovic, we've needed, it's a position that is needed to be addressed. Handanovic is still doing a job, but we've seen over the last few years that he's declining. And when a player like Onana is available for free transfer at 25 years old with still a, potential to achieve, great playing out the ball from the back with his feet. I mean, I'll try to do a proper, video on like what he's going to bring in terms of skills, but there's already a video out on my channel to talk about, I talked to the Ajax fan. If you go on my channel and search Onana, there's a video I did with the Ajax fan talking about what he can bring to Inter. There's a lot of upside with Onana as a free transfer. Just a smart deal. As we've seen, Cordas is just, that guy, that third, like Bernie, like he's just going to be there. Stankovic is way too young. He needs to be loaned out. Radu, he's young as well. He needs to be playing out. He's a little bit too young to be a second keeper as well. Usually second keepers are a little bit more experienced, or just guys that are happy to sit on the bench. Radu, at his age, probably wants to be playing regular football. So it just makes sense. We'll see what happens with Handanovic, which rumored that his contract will be signed. So it's just a smart deal to do, really. Massimo says Inter T, or you mean Inter team first? Inter T works as well. We're talking the Inter T. Yeah, exactly. Handana is 37, Onana is 25. Hans has to realize it's become to back up next season. Exactly. It's just the natural process of improvement. And this is, as I said, this is overdue. And this is a complete respect to Handanovic. There's no disrespect to Handanovic. He's funnily enough, Handanovic, we talk about it on this channel, like, how he's a concern for me and for a lot of people. But I've seen a lot of people in their team of the season until now for Serie A. Handanovic has made a lot of people's team of the season. He's got the joint most clean sheets. He's still doing a job, as much as we like to criticize Handanovic for his laser eyes and all that kind of stuff. Most of the time, he does the job. We just see, as Inter fans, when we watch every single match, that he's not the same keeper. And if you want to be a top club, every position you need to have, someone at the top of their game, which I feel personally Handanovic isn't. And yeah, of course, we're gonna have to discuss about potentially in the future. The right isn't old. He's 29. I think he's going to be 30 years old. He's not old, but of course, I think it's more about his contractual situation, where after this season he's going to have one season remaining, and he's a Mino Raiola client. So we'll see. If he's going to ask for the moon in terms of salary wise, it's going to be tricky. And he was a free transfer, so whatever you make from De Vrij is full straight up capital gains. And as I've always said, he's probably the most expendable out of the three at the back because of the age factor. But I don't think it's something that's a pressing concern. I think the De Vrij thing, the Handanovic situation has been, for me, I felt like it should have been addressed already, like last season, but we just kind of made do. But yeah, now it's I think we found the right candidate for the right price, the Marotta's favorite price, 0. Lord Figo in the house as well. Yeah, we're going to talk about Gonzalo Villar as well, who's been linked. Sebastian in the house. I think you seem like a new arrival to the channel, so happy to welcome to the channel. Good quality content, keep doing your thing. Thank you, appreciate you. Greeting from Sweden. Nice. Svenska. Helvete. Yeah, okay, so let me get into let's talk about the everyone's talking about transfer news, so let's get the transfer news out of the way. Let me get some stuff up on your screen. Talking about Onana, let's cover that. One of the stats I saw recently, actually a while back, Onana, in terms of this is a stat that uses, I think is based on the XG post shot, so it kind of calculates the goal prevention depending on how dangerous the shot is. And Andre Onana, since the Champions League 2018-19 campaign, according to this Opta stat, has the highest amount of goals prevented, 13.4, more than Alisson, more than Neuer, more than Keylor Navas, Roman Berkey. And it's very impressive. And we've seen, if you've seen clips of Onana playing, you can see exactly why. The guy is a very athletic goalkeeper. Although the stat is a little bit skewed. I don't know, there are some stat merchants in the house like Tommy, but the stat is a little bit skewed because, of course, after his ban, since the 2018-19, I think his ban came in the 2020 season, was it? So he hasn't played for a big chunk of the Champions League. So for that reason, it is a little bit skewed. So he has as many minutes as the other keepers in that bracket have. But again, it's a very, very impressive stat that he makes some very, very crucial saves, and it means that the saves that he makes are from shots, of very high quality shots as well. And there's a very good video that I bookmarked and I tweeted out today. One of the saves he made on Lewandowski against Bayern Munich. So I don't know if you guys can see. You see Lewandowski here. Look at that point blank range. Like, this guy makes those saves that maybe we saw Handanovic doing when he was younger, miracle saves where you're not expecting. Like, look at that. That's pretty much a guaranteed goal. Those are the kind of ones that on the XG stat, that's probably like 0.99. Like, that's pretty much a guaranteed goal from the 6-yard box in the center. I mean, especially for someone like Lewandowski. So that's a super impressive save from Onana. And then the other thing that he definitely adds is the playing out from the back. I mean, I'm not going to get like the full videos out there. I'm not trying to get copyrighted. There was a video of one of these passes that he did, little ping he did to I don't know, actually, was it to Hala or someone? Can't remember. Let's see. Yeah, here, like, look at this. Playing out from the back. He's just gonna give us a brand new dynamic. Like, Handanovic is good playing out from the back. Is something that he's learned, late on in his career. He's really improved on that. But this is, that's like having a midfielder at the back. And we know goalkeepers like Ederson, Alisson, these guys are kind of Neuer, like pioneered almost having this, like having a midfielder at the back, playing out from the back, makes life so much easier. It's really, really good. So I am excited about the Onana signing, man. I'm really, really excited about the Onana signing. Moving on, some of the other rumors that we have seen recently. Let me share my screen with you guys. This guy, you know, a few people are very excited about this guy, and of course, with Inter's heritage in the Argentinian market, Argentinian strikers especially. I mean, our heritage is top dollar when it comes to Argentinian strikers. According to Gazzetta, Inter are going to go head to head with AC Milan, Man United, Atletico, and other teams for, or I guess I'm going to say Julian Alvarez, but I guess, he's Argentinian, so it's Julian Alvarez, I'm guessing. Um, According to Gazzetta, which is not the most reliable for me in terms of, tier or, reliability tier, but they report that the 21-year-old agent Fernando Hidalgo will be in Milan in the coming days. And then the Nerazzurri, I've set up some sort of meeting with him, and his release clause. This is why the guy is like in demand. I mean, 20 million euro release clause is pretty. It's a good price for someone like him. That's around about the amount Inter paid for Lautaro when we signed him from um, Racing Club in was it 2017, 2018. So very good price. There's no negotiation on that 20 million, and he's yours. And the guy's put up some really, really good numbers, to be honest. I mean, I think he's more ready than Lautaro was at his age, in my opinion. Like the numbers he's put up already. Julian Alvarez, let me pull him up real quick. Yeah, so in the Primera División this season, he's got 20 goals in 35 matches, which is, really good ratio. In the Libertadores, he has 2 goals in 10. In the Supercopa, he has 1 out of 1. Like, these are real good stats. And I think he's got 38 goals and assists in 2021 or something like that. And he's won a few trophies already with River Plate. He's coming with a winning background already. 5'8", so it's similar in terms of Lautaro, in terms of build. I mean, he's not as stocky as Lautaro. He's a little bit more lean and he looks quicker. But just as hungry, and that grinta. I remember when we first signed Lautaro, like that Argentine grinta that you can't buy. He reminds me of Lautaro in that a lot. But yeah, he's a small striker, so he's probably more in the mold of a second striker. And what does the report say? The report says that Inter considering him because he's more affordable than Scamacca and these other man. Like, and of course the growth decree would help in terms of his wages as well. It's what I was talking about in terms of when we talk about Scamacca and all of these Italian talents. The Italian tax is you get linked with someone like Raspadori, Scamacca, Frattesi, and it's like they've had 6 good months. And the price is like 35 million. Like with Scamacca, they're saying that Sassuolo won 40 million, and the guy scored this season like 6 goals. So it's crazy. Like the Italian tax is it's quite funny because we always talk about the English tax, which is absolutely crazy. Someone like Jack Grealish going for 100 million, but the Italian tax when the transfer market is already pretty dire in Italy in terms of transfer money being spent, it's they make life really difficult. So I wouldn't blame Inter for going for someone like Julian Alvarez over someone like Scamacca, because you're talking about almost half the price if the reports are true, that's what they want for someone like Scamacca. But again, I don't think this is a January signing. It would be in the summer. I'm maintaining the idea that I think our January window is gonna be pretty quiet. Yeah, where he had like 38 goals, assists. Yeah, he's been very, very impressive. Alvarez, an agent, supposedly love Inter and Serie A football particularly, and feeling good about him coming. Yeah, but there's a lot of competition, as we said, because of the price, his performances. He's already in the Argentinian national team as well, so he's a hot commodity at the moment. So we're gonna definitely have to compete on getting his signature. Probably have to give him a nice wage. And reports are coming that United are going in strong for him, and of course, Premier League clubs, they've got the cash straight. They can sign him now and maybe get him in the summer or get him later. Whereas we would probably have to wait until the summer. They can put straight 20 million down, up front for the guy. It's hard to compete with that. But if he is really interested in playing in Serie A at Inter, if he wants to continue the Argentinian heritage, then you're more than welcome, Julian. He's a very, very interesting player. Alvarez, Correa, Lautaro, Mate FC will be eating good next season. Yeah, man, for sure. That is Mate FC. And I think he would probably be, it depends what happens with Alexis. I think Alexis in the summer, I think a lot depends on that. As we said, like numerically up front at the moment, we've got 4 guys that are all, pretty much starting material. They can all compete for the starting spot. Dzeko, Lautaro, Correa, Sanchez. And then we got Satriano, who definitely next season, I hope he's loaned out. The poor guy, or even in January, actually, I hope that he gets loaned out. He needs playing time. So I think if you sign him, you can't make him your 5th striker. He has to be as part of that four guy rotation. And he would probably want some, guarantees of getting some minutes. He's not gonna be happy just being benched. So yeah, interesting. Definitely one to keep an eye out for. Uriah is also excited about the potential trio, the Argentine trio. Julian was the best player of the Americas this year. Yeah, that's what everyone is telling me. I don't watch Argentinian football, so I rely on the football compilations on YouTube and stuff like that, which is not the best place to judge a player, but they do look good. The compilations do look good. I do like what I see. Shoots from outside the box. He takes on players. He's quick. He's strong, hungry. Seems like he's a good finisher. So there's definitely, potential there to work there. Esposito could have had 6 with this Inter squad, and he is ours. You mean 6th spot in the striker department? Yeah, again, but that would be just a waste. These young guys need minutes. There's no point of keeping these guys on the bench and getting charity minutes here and there. They need minutes. They need minutes under the legs. They need experience. That's the only way they're gonna, we're gonna find out if they're good enough for Inter. Onana with Lautaro and Dzeko shooting, he would keep 2 clean sheets. Oh, firing shots, Gerald, firing shots. Monica con il cavolo, Brozovic, Frattesi è molto vicino all'Inter, Scamacca si parla di Juve. Yeah, I don't know, Monica. I don't think I'm not sure. Frattesi, again, is the same issue that we talked about with the other guys. 25 million is what they're asking for Frattesi after 6 months. I think is a little bit too expensive for Inter. It depends on, the midfield position. If Vecino leaves, I think Vidal is leaving at the end of the season, so there's that space. But I think Inter need to sell to be able to invest that much money into a player, unless they're able to do some swap deals. Hidalgo is the guy that brought Crespo to Inter back then. Ooh, okay, nice, Nadim. I didn't know that. It's an interesting link. So again, yeah, the heritage there. He's a guy who's probably got the connection with Zanetti as well. Although Javier Zanetti denied that we were interested in Alvarez a few weeks back. I remember there was an interview with him, but yeah, I wouldn't take too much. I wouldn't trust too much with Zanetti. I don't think he has that much of a say what goes on at Inter. He's probably just trying to, deflect the news, and he probably actually deep down they probably are. He's probably trying to sweet talk Alvarez and his family. But who do you sell? Sanchez, Dzeko, Correa? Do we really need a striker? Just ask. Yeah, that's the issue. I'm saying, like, it's a tricky situation with Sanchez. The issue that we've talked about, because of his salary, you can't sell him. The only way you can Sanchez leaves is if we cancel his contract, we'll pay him off. I think after this season, I think he still has 1 more year left, so it would be no one's gonna buy Sanchez off us. Dzeko, same thing. He's 35, 36 years old. No one's gonna buy Dzeko off us, and he still has a contract with us. And with Correa, again, I don't really see someone buying Correa after 1 season with us. Although PSG were strongly interested in him before we bought him. So that's the thing. I think the only, but then you have to make that decision. So if you sign someone like Alvarez, then you probably have to sacrifice the salary of Sanchez, you'd be like, the 7 million net salary of Sanchez, even though he is still really, really good, Sanchez, you might have to sacrifice that for someone like Alvarez coming in, looking to the future, because Sanchez is 33 now, 32, 33. So you have to start looking to the future, or someone comes in for Lautaro with big money. We already know that Lautaro had offers in the summer that we rejected, and I think it was Spurs, Arsenal were strongly interested. If those Premier League clubs, Conte being a Spurs once again, if Conte comes calling, or Atletico are interested before Inter signed them, the Barcelona links have always been there. That could be kind of the replacing Lautaro with kind of Lautaro. That's how we replaced Icardi slowly. We started integrating Lautaro slowly, and then he became, of course, Lukaku was the Icardi replacement, but as in finding that future number 9, and integrating him like that. But we'll see. I'm not really going to get too ahead of myself. I think with Alvarez, the competition is fierce. I won't be surprised if he does end up, in the Premier League or somewhere like Atletico, the clubs that kind of have that ability to spend straight away. Alvarez, the most important thing to him is playing time to make the World Cup and be at top form. He's not going anywhere and staying on the bench. Yeah, that is true. But at the end of the day, if they put whoever pays if you pay the release clause, there's not much he can do. River Plate, they have to sell if you meet the release clause, and he's not going to say no. Of course, it probably isn't the right career move for him, but if Man United come calling, he's not going to say no to that. But if he's smart, if there's other good offers on the table like Inter, then he probably is. Then I hope he is smart like that to make a decision. But then again, if Lautaro stays, if these guys stay, then even at Inter, he was not guaranteed playing time, and coming straight from the Argentine league, he's going to need time to adapt as well. So I don't think none of the big clubs can guarantee him the playing time that he probably wants. Yeah, exactly. Sanchez and Dzeko aren't getting any younger. Mate is really good. If I haven't tried it, yeah, I've heard that Mate is really good, but I've heard it's also got a very strong taste to it. And I don't think it's very easy to get, especially here in the UK. I don't think I've ever seen it being sold anywhere. So yeah, we'll see. Sign Alvarez and loan him to Serie A team like Adriano back then. Yeah, that's always a good. I always like when teams do that, because you kind of work in collaboration with someone. Like Italian teams do that quite often. I think that's how we signed Julio Cesar back then, and then like Adriano went to Fiorentina, then he went to Parma. It was a good training ground for them to get their feet, under them in the Serie A and really learn the trade, get some experience, get some that playing time that we're talking about before being thrust in the limelight. But again, Inter could do these things back then because they had Moratti pumping mad money. But now it's like, if we're spending 20 million on a player, that guy is playing. He's going to be in the squad. Steven Zhang ain't watching some guy he spent 20 million on being out on loan. He's going to be like, yo, you man need to play this guy. And again, with Alvarez, I feel like he is kind of ready. He looks ready to me. Like, as I said, he looks more ready to me than Lautaro did when we signed Lautaro. There was lots of potential and promise straight away, but you could see that there was a lot of polishing to do, which there's still a lot of polishing to do with Lautaro, which is the crazy part. Like, this guy, he's got 11 goals this season already in Serie A, but there's still that improvement from Lautaro that he can take to the next level. Alvarez is ready to play Inter alone. It would be a waste. Yeah, I think to me, he does look ready. But again, it comes to the decision: can you sacrifice, or who do you sacrifice out of those guys? And I think it probably is going to be someone like Sanchez. Serie A takeover is on the up like the 90s. I'm not sure. In general, the league is probably the most entertaining it's been since the 90s. Since I've been watching, this is the most entertaining I think the league has been Um, but until the teams actually start competing in Europe, I'm not going to say that it's back to those levels in the 90s where Italian teams were able to compete with the best, and the Italian teams were the best. Yeah, so that was one news, the Alvarez. Let's see what happens with that. The other news that I saw for a couple of weeks now is this rumor about Gonzalo Villar, the AS Roma midfielder, Spanish youngster. Was he 22, 23 years old? Um, According to Gazzetta once again, so not super reliable. But with this one, I have heard a few sources mention this, so it does make me think that this might be true, that Inzaghi likes Gonzalo Villar. Nice technical player as a potential vice Brozovic. And we know the vice Brozovic position is a position that we've needed someone there for a few years. There's just no real cover. We've seen that sometimes we put Barella there, sometimes even Vidal. We rotate some players there, but there's no real like an actual specialized vice Brozovic. And with this busy period coming in, I don't think it'd be bad ideas. And Villar is not rated by Mourinho. He's not played much at all apart from the Conference League. So a straight up loan deal could be very easily doable. And apparently Roma themselves are interested in Matthias Vecino. So there could be a potential swap of loans. We know Vecino wants to leave somewhere to get more minutes. Roma want midfielders. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. This Gonzalo Villar, he could be a useful. He might not even get that many minutes, but he probably get more minutes at Inter than he gets at Roma, or just fresh air, just a change of scenery might help him out. And if Inzaghi likes him, Inzaghi's played against him when he was at Lazio a few times. I like him. I think he's an interesting player. Villar. I think there's a lot of potential there. Very Spanish in terms of very technical on the ball. I think Mourinho doesn't like him because, of course, off the ball, in that position, he's a little bit skinny. He's not the most physical. Defensively, he needs to improve. But if Inzaghi is willing to, put the work in on the training ground, it could be an interesting one. You guys, let me know what you guys think of Gonzalo Villar. Nadim says he's always liked Villar. Personally, he impressed when he played us last season. Could be useful. Nice. Gerard also likes Villar. But yeah, as I've been saying for weeks and weeks, nothing's gonna happen unless someone leaves. Vecino, I think if someone needs to come into the midfield, Vecino has to leave. Gagliardini or someone has to leave to make space in the team or in the wage budget as well. Something needs to go out for someone to come in, I think, first of all. Let's see what you guys are saying. Someone tuning in from Indonesia as well. What's up? Yeah, we can talk about this. We can talk about this later on in the season, Anna, when we would get closer to the Liverpool match. We don't know what this injury situation, suspension situation, we will look like. What happened to Nandes? Oh yeah, I've mentioned this a couple of times. Nandes is finding himself in a sticky situation at the moment. So he's been in Uruguay, in his home country. He's been the police actually looked for him. There's an arrest warrant out for him. So he's been accused of abuse from his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, I believe. Don't quote me 100% on that, but yeah, he's in a little bit of a sticky situation. So I think any rumors related to Nandes are going to die down for a little while until the situation is clarified, until it's sorted. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it's definitely not something that any club wants to touch right now. So yeah, I don't think Hernandez is happening now. It's one that I thought was going to happen in the summer and it didn't. And I thought if something's going to happen in January, it's going to be Nandes once again, because Inzaghi mentioned him by name in the interview like just a couple of weeks back. But I don't think now. I think now this situation has probably killed any hope of his moving to a bigger club, until if his name gets cleared, then he'll be fine again. I also like the Marotta approach. He's not panicking and picking up players just to secure. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying as well. Like, I don't think there's any, this squad as it is now can get us the Scudetto. There's no, you can definitely improve it, especially in the backup position. You can improve some of the backups. You can upgrade on Gagliardini, Vecino, all these man, get a proper Vice Brozovic, get a proper Vice Bastoni maybe. But in the January window, they call it the reparation window. So you repair something that needs fixing in the team. Nothing really much happens in the January window. And Inter in general, we don't really do much in January windows. Like who's the big January window signing that we've done? I mean, like under Conte, we brought in like guys like Victor Moses, Ashley Young, didn't we? Like just gaps in the squad that needed filling. Um, before, remember, like the guys like Podolski, just like loan signings that nothing happens with them, like Lisandro Lopez, just filling gaps within the squad. The January window really is usually quite a quiet window. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, the next rumor I want to talk about is Lucas Digne, the Everton left back. He is rumored to be on the way out from Everton, because Everton apparently he's fallen out with Rafa Benitez. Of course, Inter fans were not the biggest fans of Rafa Benitez anyway, so we probably understand. And then recently, Everton have bought another left back, Vitaly Mikolenko, Ukrainian from Dynamo Kiev, who actually we were linked with last season, if you guys remember, up and coming left back that we were linked with. So they've signed him up. And he wasn't playing even before this, the last few matches. And then on the right back, they've also signed a right back, Everton. So it looks like he could be on the way out, because Everton are actually, usually Premier League clubs are completely fine financially, but actually Everton are one of the few clubs that could be in potential financial fair play trouble. So they actually do need to move out some players. And yeah, he's 28 years old. You might remember him from a small stint at Ericsson. Ericsson was a good point. I can see everyone's pointing Ericsson. That is true. We did make the Ericsson purchase. Good point. But again, that was an Inter team that that had money to spend. And I guess that opportunity when it came up, it was too good to turn down. Pandev was I think we had to pay like a settlement fee to Lazio for him. It was a weird deal, the Pandev one. But yeah, but of course, this is the best squad that we've had in a long time. The Inter squad from we did Hernanes. Remember under Tohir, we did Hernanes. Was it 2015, 2014 or whatever it was? We spent like 20 something million on Hernanes from Lazio. We've done a few deals, but those squads back then definitely needed a lot of work. There was always some potential improvement on those squads, whereas with this squad, when you look at it on the individual level, it's very hard to improve this squad, as I said, unless you're talking about the backups. But yeah, going back to Digne, I remember him from his stint that he had at Roma. He's had an interesting career. Like he's been at Barcelona, he's been at Roma, or is he Lille, PSG? So he's been at some big clubs. And I like him. He's got a good left foot. He's got he's more of an attacking left back, and he starts. He doesn't always start, but he's in the French national team a lot of the times as well. Really good left foot. But the issue is usually, as with the issue is from Premier League players, his salary. He's not going to be on some sort of cheap ass salary. He's but Everton, I know Everton do need to sell, but again, apparently Everton want a loan with a obligation or option to buy, whereas Inter are more interested in just a straight up 6-month loan to just tie us over. As we said, according to the reports, and we've seen it on the pitch really, that Di Marco is considered more as a left centre back by Inzaghi now in the back three as the backup to Bastoni more than the backup or as a proper left wing back. So if we sign a left wing back, the plan is to move Di Marco back to the left centre back position, which, you know, I'm still unconvinced about Di Marco in that position just because of his height and his physical ability. But it's it seems like that's what Inzaghi wants to do. To he's amazing to build up from the back, so he wants to get a proper left wing back, and that's why we link with people like Lucas Digne, Filip Kostic. We've been linked with him for a while, and now today the new name that's come out is Bensebaini, the Borussia Mönchengladbach left wing back. Let me pull up the Sempre Inter article. Yeah, he is a left wing back slash left mid slash left back, a bit adaptable. Bensebaini is one of the main targets to replace Ivan Perisic, according to Sky Sport Italia, which is a little bit more reliable than Gazzetta in my opinion. If the Croat does not extend his deal past the end of June, the Nerazzurri are continuing to monitor the 26-year-old situation as they prepare for a possible move for him during the summer transfer window. So actually, this looks like it's more for a summer move, although it says a move for the left back as early as this month cannot be ruled out. Should Gladbach open to an initial loan operation, with the Nerazzurri also considering looking for a backup option to replace Perisic on the left for the rest of the season. So yeah, a few interesting options on the left hand side, for sure. I'm still in the Kostic camp. I think Kostic, if you're bringing him in, he's really probably going to challenge Perisic properly if Perisic extends his contract, as like a strong candidate to challenge Perisic for the left wing back spot. And if Perisic leaves, then he's definitely one of the top candidates to replace Perisic. And yeah, as Chris says, he's not even this season, for a few seasons he's been leading chance creation stats for a long time. He's been from corners, free kicks, open play. He's just got an amazing left foot. Yeah, as he says, it's probably Kostic a little bit more attacking. He was a winger, an actual winger for Eintracht Frankfurt, and converted into a left wing back, whereas Digne has always been a left back, traditional left back. So that means that Digne probably has to do a bit more adaptation as well, whereas Kostic is coming straight from a 3-5-2 formation, where for Eintracht play 3-4-3, 3-5-2 over the last few years. So for me, that's why it's Kostic is my ideal pick. Although the problem with Kostic is I've wanted Kostic since like 2 or 3 seasons, and now Kostic is 29, so he's getting to that age now where it's like I'm not saying he's old. 29 is definitely not old, but it's just not as ideal as a situation it would have been when you're bringing him in as when he's 27, at his peak, and giving him a couple of years to adapt, whereas now you're bringing him in when he's technically, when they say a player after 28 29 starts to physically decline, but he still would be my top choice. And we know with Kostic, he was close to signing for Lazio for not an expensive fee at all. His coming from the Bundesliga, his wages are very affordable, and he put in a transfer request, so he definitely wanted to leave Eintracht quite badly. So we know he's on the way out. With Digne, apparently Everton are requesting for around 28 million euros, which is that's out of our price range. I think with Kostic, I think Lazio we're trying to get him for like 10-12 million euros, so he's going to be much more affordable on all fronts, salary wise, transfer fee wise, and I think he's just a better fit. So I think Lucas Digne, if it happens, is going to be a short-term deal for sure. Yeah, Lazio would have. Yeah, if you don't know, apparently the Lazio deal, fell through because they sent the offer to the wrong email, and apparently this was actually like an official thing, like it actually happened. It's not like a lie made up. So shouts out to Julian for reminding me about that. typical typical Lotito kind of stuff. um yeah, Ricardo says Kostic is number one, especially at 10 million euros, while Dean is an option, but Bensebaini is reported as well. Yeah, I'm not sure how much would the Gladbach want for Bensebaini, and I don't know as much about Bensebaini as I do about Kostic because I've watched Kostic for a little while, because I felt like he was the right option for us for a while. Yeah, a few years ago he was valued quite a lot higher. Yeah, happy New Year to you as well, Ricardo. Happy New Year to you and your family as well, Big Jono. Yeah, Kostic has serious speed too. Could be lethal, adding speed to the Inter squad, of course. Yeah, he's athletic. He reminds me of Perisic in terms of that. He's very lean. He looks like a athletic player, like a guy who takes care of himself. Takes corners, free kicks, so he just adds on to the set piece threat that we have as well. Like it's just lots of plus points when it comes to Kostic over. Although Dean also takes good free kicks and stuff as well. I've seen he scored a few free kicks over his career. He's got a nice left foot. Chris says Bensebaini is more defensive. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, he's younger, but I honestly haven't watched too much of Bensebaini. And then speaking of Gladbach and Bensebaini, the other player that we link with from Gladbach is Matthias Ginter. So he is a centre back that is he's played for Dortmund. He's played for somewhere else before as well, but currently plays for Gladbach. He starts most of the time for the German national team as well. Let me just share my screen with you guys. The Transfermarkt page for Matthias Ginter. He was actually part of the World Cup winning squad with Germany in 2014. He didn't get any appearances, but he was part of the squad, so we've got potentially a World Cup winner coming in. But the most important thing about Ginter is that his contract is expiring at the end of the season, so he's one of the potential free transfer deals. Beppe Marotta special, of course. 21.6 million current value according to Transfermarkt. And he's played all over the place. He's definitely a centre back now. Earlier on in his career, he's played in defensive midfield, but also right back. But he's definitely been playing more as a centre back over the last few years. He is 27 years old. He's going to be 28 soon, so right in his prime. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Apparently, Inter are looking at him seriously. But again, I think with Ginter, as we talk about, the striker position, it depends on what happens with Stefan de Vrij. Because he's a free transfer, because he's gonna the reported wage that we're gonna offer him is around 3 to 4 million net. That's a starter wage. So I think if he comes in, that's the as John says here, I think as John says here, it would be the straight swap for De Vrij. I think I'm not sure Inter are going to sign him if they're going to also renew De Vrij's contract or keep De Vrij, because then the aim of Suning at the moment is to cut costs with Inter, especially in terms of the wage budget. So yeah, as Arnold says as well, I think Ginter is potentially going to come in, but it also depends what happens with De Vrij. Bremer is of course the other name as well. And in an ideal world, that would be my preferred option if you're replacing De Vrij. I really like what I see from Bremer this season. And you guys, spoiler alert, you'll see in my the Serie A team of the season until now. I really like Bremer, but with Bremer, you would have to pay Torino. And usually they're not the easiest club to deal with. Torino, we've known over the years, these guys valued Belotti 80, 90 million, I think, when Belotti first exploded. So, it's not going to be the easiest player to buy. So we're going to have to pay for Bremer. So whatever money we potentially could get from De Vrij would have to go towards Bremer. Whereas with Ginter, you can, you don't have to spend that money straight. for to bring him in, as it would be a free transfer, but you just have to push the wage budget a little bit more. But it depends. We'll see what happens with De Vrij. It's not certain that he's going to leave. It depends. Maybe he leaves on a free, which I also wouldn't mind getting, one last year out of him if he's going to ask for too much money with his Mino being Mino's client. We know that these guys sometimes can ask for the moon, and Mino can ask him for a massive agent fee and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. And I do think, as Nicola kind of says here, if he comes in, because I've seen he mainly in the German national team who play now primarily a three at the back formation, he plays the right centre back position. So I think if he comes in, he comes as this, he goes in the Skriniar role, and Skriniar, as we've seen a couple of times this season, he's going to go into the De Vrij role, and I think that would be the right move, because Ginter is shown he's played as a right back, he's playing as a midfielder as well. He's a guy who's comfortable on the ball. I think the right centre back position probably fits him better. I think it's a position that he's played more. He could also play in the middle of the three, but I think that would mean that Skriniar moves to the middle permanently, and which I think that's going to be Skriniar's position for the long term. I've always said that. Yeah, and in terms of him, in terms of Ginter at 28, that's perfectly fine for a centre back. The age does not matter to me at all. I mentioned it with Kostic because that's a position that requires more athleticism, and the pace is really important in that position. Being a wing back, that's the only reason why I said it with Kostic. But the other positions on the pitch, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not like a youth merchant where like we need to sign players under 25s to thrive. There's a football manager type of vibes, or Arsene Wenger. Yes, Luis Felipe I really like at Lazio as well. He's another very, very interesting opportunity. I said it at the start of the season, actually, when I was looking at potential free agents at the end of the season. His contract expires at Lazio, and he earns like 500k at Lazio. So you can double or triple his salary very easily, Luis Felipe, and he's going to be very happy coming to Inter. Played under Inzaghi already, 23, 24 years old, lots to improve, lots of potential to improve, and he's not the done deal. He's not the finished article for sure. He's got things to improve on. So I would expect him not to be like if you bring someone like a Luis Felipe, and I think you can still keep De Vrij into the team. But I think if you're bringing in someone like Ginter, that's the De Vrij replacement in my opinion. But yeah, definitely keep a lookout for the Luis Felipe rumors in the coming months if he doesn't sign a new contract with Lazio. Yeah, he is one of the best defenders in Bundesliga, 27 years with great experience. Exactly. So it would be a smart deal, but again, it depends what happens with De Vrij. Yeah, we talked about it, Ricardo. If you just missed this, talked about Villar potentially maybe with Vecino. Let's see if maybe Mourinho wants to do us a favor. Bayern Munich, of course, they're interested in Ginter because they're interested in every good player in the in the Bundesliga. These guys just cannibalize their own league, so that's a good sign. At least if Bayern Munich are interested in him, then it means he's really good. Tommy's not too sure about He wants Skriniar right centre back. Yeah, I mean that's his position. That's his position right now. But I feel like because he is really good on the ball, like De Vrij, in terms of spraying the ball around, and as time goes on, as he slows down, that central position is less exposed than the other ones. But I just feel like that's his long-term position, the middle of the three going forward. But yeah, that's definitely his position. What if Vidal leaves? Who should we go? Vecino and Sensei going to leave in summer too, I hope. Yeah, it depends. The Vidal is definitely leaving. His contract expires at the end of this summer, so we're getting rid of his 7-8 million net salary for sure. And then also if you also manage to get some money coming in from Vecino or Sensi leaving, then I think we can go for someone like Fratesi or an up and coming center midfielder like that, and go back to that project of Marotta and Ozilio were trying to do with Barella, Sensi, trying to build this kind of Italian young Italian team. So we'll talk about it when the time comes. But as I said, with Frattesi, I want to wait. I don't want to hype him up too quickly because I've seen it over the years. Like names like, if you remember Baselli, do you know Baselli, the guy that plays at Torino? He was really hyped up when he was younger, coming through as one of the great Italian talents. Mandragora, another guy who's playing at Torino now, big talent coming out of the Italian system. Castrovilli, remember Castrovilli a couple of seasons ago at Fiorentina had a great 6 month season, and now he's kind of disappeared. Castrovilli, I really liked him. So there's always these players that come up and have these kind of interesting periods of form, but I do want to see them over a prolonged period of time before you try to bring him to Inter. And of course, as I always talked about, Gagliardini is the perfect example of that. After 6 good months at Atalanta, and you pay 25 million, it is what it is. Passo dell'Inter in the house. Make sure you guys check out, if you speak Italian, he makes Italian speaking content on Inter and stuff like that. So make sure you guys check out his channel as well. Calafiori, yeah, I don't know. I saw it was hype, but Mourinho clearly does not rate him one bit. And I don't really see a standout ability in him either. So that's a no from me. Romano just said that United are currently not working on signing Alvarez. Nice. That's good. One less competitor. Also very good friend of Tuku. Yeah. He is. Luis Felipe. He's a very good friend of Tuku until that that drama happened at the end of the Inter Lazio match. But yeah, Tuku did confirm that they are very close friends outside of football as well. So Tuku can maybe put in a good word as well. Bundesliga is the Bayern Munich academy. Yeah, exactly. Maggiore and Ricci are the present. Barella and Sensi. I say Ricci. Like now that's a player we can talk about. Samuele Ricci at Empoli as a potential vice Brozovic or bringing through, in that position. I like Ricci as a potential future regista. Maggiore, he just strikes me as kind of one of those backup guys, like decent, like a Marco Parolo, one of them type of vibes, like decent talent, but I don't think he's ever going to be starting material at Inter or at a big club. But if you're able to get him on a cheap deal, if Spezia get relegated, you can get him 5-10 million. Then yeah, those are smart deals, low wages. That makes sense, and I think Maggiore is also an Interista, so the more the merrier in the squad. But I'm talking. I want to talk about I think talents like Ricci speak to him a little bit more. I feel like he's more elite. And yeah, let's not forget about Agume as well. He's been doing well at Brest as well. And he did an interview the other day. I saw that he said his aim is to play at Inter long term. That's his goal. And from what I hear, some of the clips I've been watching, that he's been pretty impressive in the in Ligue 1. So yeah, I hope Inzaghi can take a good look at him in the summer and see, like, can he be a real vice Brozovic? But only, once again, don't keep him if you're going to do what you did with Satriano and give him charity minutes. Like, if you feel like Agume can step in properly and you can give him 25 30 appearances this season, even as a substitute, Coppa Italia, some games here and there, then keep him in the team. But there's no point keeping in players like we did with Satriano, guys like we kept Pinamonti the other year with Conte. There's no point. The player does not progress like that. You're stagnating the player like that. Right. Those are the transfer news. Wow, we talked for an hour. Damn, I was hoping to keep the transfer news to half an hour, then talk about my team of the season for 10 minutes, and then something else. Oh my god. You guys, I always try to keep a very tight schedule, but you guys are always so active, and yeah, it's a nice thing. It's not a bad thing. As long as you guys are enjoying, that's the important thing. So I'm gonna pull up my Serie A team of the season until now, and and I'm sure some people might, be they'll have their own opinions. So I'm willing to hear your. Actually, oh yeah, did I pull a poll out on the I did, I put a poll, didn't I, on the thing, uh, on the who you think your player of the season was for Inter. Let me see what the results for that is, if it shows me it. It's not showing me it. The hell? Why can't I see my own poll? That's annoying. Can someone tell me who's winning in the poll? In the poll that I put into the chat, the who's the player of the season until now for Inter? I think I put Brozovic, Hakan, and Skriniar, didn't I? And other. Can someone tell me which one has got the highest percentage? Because it's not showing me. I can't see my own poll on my own channel. Brodzo 53%. Oh, whoa, that's closer than that's a closer than I expected. Nice. Gerard picked Skriniar, Brozo won, but I voted for Hakan. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the player of the season, or the mid-season awards for Inter. So where the trophy, there it is, a sanitizer, hand gel. That's the trophy. Lobimos says, can't believe Skriniar is last in the poll. Oh, he's last in the poll. Wow. So people are putting Hakan above Skriniar. Damn, I wouldn't do that. I would not put Hakan above Skriniar. Maybe fans are starting to take his excellence and consistency. I think there is. I think with Skriniar is, honestly, I think people are starting to take it for granted. I think the rest of Serie A as well. I don't hear Skriniar being talked about as much as, being the best centre back in the league, which probably is. Ricardo says he voted for Hakan even though Brozo won. Fair enough. Anything short of 11 Inter players is a farce. Maybe Romero for Handa. Other than that, straight Interisti. Hey man, we can't do a straight up 11. I watch a lot of the other teams, and I think it's good to have a range of players from the other teams. But I know, really and truly, it should have been just like back three of Inter, and the midfield of Inter, and we can plug and play the others. That's if I went for the full bias, if that's what it would have been, to be honest. Hakan is second with 29%. Nice. So no one's like voted for anyone else. No one's. How many others? What's the percentage for others? Skriniar 15%. Damn, man. Damn. Bokar Diop says Hakan. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, Future Hendrik. You're right. You can't even judge him anymore. It's about it's just you sometimes you get so used to something, you just I guess it's one of those things like if Skriniar gets injured, God forbid he doesn't, I'm touching any type of wood that's around here, then you might feel like, oh, okay, we miss Skriniar, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe he was that important. Mehdi says Tuku so far flop, and oh, that's harsh. Best player Hakan and Brozo surprised in the season. Dumfries, interesting. Only 2% for others. Yeah, I think the others probably is Perisic, if there is any others. But yeah, so my player of the season goes to, I am with everyone else, is Marcelo Brozovic. So Brozovic is your NFT hand gel that you can take home. You are the Hanko Sharma channel player of the season until now. I think Brozovic, I've said it a few times. He only has one goal, one assist until now, which makes it his worst season until now, technically. But in my opinion, this has been his best season until now. He's more involved. He's defensively really solid. He's just the metronome to the team. Like, he's always been that, but he's been more consistent this season. There's been less stinkers from Brozovic. Like in the past season, there's always one or two games there where we would drop a stinker. But this season, he's just been consistent, rarely dropped a stinker, rarely been rotated, rarely had a rest, and he's still just continuing to ball out. So for that reason, for me, he's our player of the season until now. And yeah, as with Chris, I think he's at the moment front runner of the Serie A, not just for Inter. I think could be the Serie A MVP. And I think it would be great to see someone like Brozovic win the MVP. Like, it's always, a striker usually, Lukaku last season, I think it was a Dybala before, it was a Cristiano. Like, it's always, the striker. It would be amazing to see a guy, if Brozovic finishes the season with like 2 goals and 2 assists, just the center midfielder, the regista winning it. I think that would be great. But of course, it depends on his consistency. And yeah, I wouldn't argue against you if you said Skriniar. I wouldn't argue against you. For me, he's been the best defender in the Serie A this season. He's only had one bad match, which every Inter player apart from Dzeko pretty much that match played badly was the Sassuolo match. And apart from that, he's been pretty spotless in the Champions League as well. He was spotless. But yeah, I think you said right, as you quite rightly said, Brozo is the most influential. So I agree. I agree with that. Brozo has stepped up massive, definitely showing. Yeah, he's definitely another good point. He's showing leadership qualities. In the past, even though Conte made him the vice captain, like with that match where Handanovic wasn't there and he was the captain in that Milan derby. So that shows that within the dressing room he is already considered to be a leader. But for us from the outside, we see his flailing arms and his behavior on the pitch that he's not a leader. But this season he's more struck me more as a leader. But yeah, he needs to sign that contract. On that note, Brozovic signed the thing, and yeah, I've seen his NFT profile picture on Twitter, and I think he paid like 200,000 euros or 250,000 euros for that. Like, I mean, I'm a little bit into crypto and stuff, but I'm not. I would definitely not drop 250k for a PNG like that. And yeah, of course, his turning moment was that match. Yeah, if you haven't seen it on my channel, there is a video called "When Spalletti Turned Brozovic into a World-Class Regista." Is the match against Napoli in the 2017-18 season where Brozovic becomes the player that he's today, or he finally picks that position. Before he was, here, there, left centre mid, CAM, like all over the place. Yeah, I agree. Like he's the most underrated midfielder in Europe because when I see people, usually is a Premier League bias channels on YouTube talking about defensive midfielders, he's never mentioned. And again, I did talk about it in the summer. He had a really bad Euros. I know Croatia in general weren't good, but Brozovic was really bad in the Euros, and I think that did not help, especially the England match when the Premier League eyes are on the not that Premier League eyes are the be all end all, but I can see why they would have seen that match and they'd be like, this is the guy Serie A fans telling me about, this Bozovic. So that was a shame that he had a bad Euros, but he deserves two man of the match performances in the Champions League this season. So I hope people are actually taking notice, but not too much notice because then people start stealing our players. But yeah, the other award, goal of the season, guys. Give me your goal of the season. I'll give you a minute to comment in the chat whilst I try to find the goal. I was torn in between two, to be honest, in terms of the goals. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? Come on. Well, I'll just use the picture. There's no need to actually show the video just in case I get copyrighted. DiMarco says Gerald. DiMarco free kick. Fagandov says Hakan's penalty kick against Milan. I like it. Matteo says DiMarco. No, it's the goal of the season, Abdullah, not goal of the year. Yeah, if it was goal of the year, maybe Ericsson would have snuck in, the emotional factor for sure. But goal of this season, Ricardo says Hakan's goal or DiMarco free kick. Which one? Which one of Hakan's goal? The Cagliari one, the Venezia one? Which one? Alexis Sanchez. Oh, I think you mean the one with the Barella. Yeah, that was a really good one. That's a good one. Lautaro super kick or Barella to Sanchez. Toro against Atalanta. Yeah, so I was torn. Yes, this is very underrated. I feel like people are really underrating this goal. And I'm not saying that just because I like Tuku, but that header against Verona on the edge of the box to get that much power, accuracy. The cross was decent from Darmian, but there was no power in the cross. It was just a floater. Really, really good header. Like, Hernan Crespo would be proud of that header. So it deserves an honorable mention, but that is not the goal. The rocket, yeah, the one against Cagliari. Either Di Marco or Lauti. Yeah, so these are the two goals, Massimo. You are like me on this one. I was torn between these two goals, but I'm gonna give it to my goal of the season. I'm gonna give it to Fede Di Marco, the free kick against Sampdoria. I'm gonna give it to him because it's just, over the years. I know, Ericsson came last year and changed things around finally in terms of free kick, scoring free kicks, but it's so beautiful. Like, it's right in the corner. Like, look at that. The keeper has no chance. That's literally where the cobwebs grow, and there's nothing you can do about that. Beautiful power placement, and Di Marco being, that's not an extra point really, but just the extra spice to the goal is that the youth player coming back to Inter and celebrating like it was the goal of his life. Like, it was really good to see, for sure. But yeah, Lautaro's versus Atalanta, the technical quality of that, the volley difficulty, Lautaro just makes it look so easy from the Barella cross. Great goal. I think Correa versus Udinese deserves a shout. We don't really see at Inter. We're not a team of dribblers. We don't do a lot of solo goals. So the Correa goal against Udinese, the first one, the one where he ran for like 40 yards and dropped it in. I really like that one. Oh yeah, the Vidal pass to Darmian was good, and Lauti volley against Fiorentina. Lucky says, yeah, no, it was close. It was close, but I'm gonna give it to Di Marco just because. I think we're probably not going to score a free kick again this season. Your free kick, if you score, is going to be like 1 or 2 a season, so rare. So for that reason, just the beauty of it as well, I'm going to give it to Di Marco. But Barella to Sanchez was another really nice one, man. It was a really nice one, just for the creativity of Barella, that assist and Sanchez's classy finish. That's for sure. Any other candidate? Oh, this is a very good shout, actually. Oh, yeah. Dzeko's volley against corner from the corner against Sharif. That was very underrated on the left foot as well, on the weak foot. Yeah, we've had some nice goals this season, man. Hakan against Cagliari is definitely up there. Hakan against Venezia is also nice. And team goal as well. Let's not forget the goal against Roma, guys. The goal, Dzeko's goal against Roma, where we played Roma all around the pitch, and then Bastoni was in the box, and then Hakan, he combined with Hakan assist to Dzeko scoring against his old team. Like, beautiful. Was it like 31 passes or 33 passes or something without Roma touching the ball? So that's another one. Definitely deserves a shout. Yeah, the Denzel header from the Bastoni pass. Beautiful pass from Bastoni. Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true. Hakan's corner kick goal. Oh shit, how did we forget that one? I mean, he probably didn't mean that, knowing Hakan as well. Bloody hell, we've got a good goal collection this season. This is gonna be hard to decide. This Inzaghi team really scores some nice goals. My God, damn! When we go to the end of the season, it's gonna be difficult. And it was a nutmeg. The Hakan goal was a nutmeg as well. You guys know that that does give me those extra brownie points. Now I'm gonna stick with the Di Marco. I'm gonna stick with Di Marco. Yeah, so that was my goal of the season. So Fede Di Marco, there's your goal of the season trophy, the Enliven hand gel. So yeah, wash your hands with that. Next award I've got is most improved player. Who's the most improved player? And this doesn't have to be, guys, a player that was at Inter already. So Hakan is eligible for this. Dzeko's eligible for this. Sorry, eligible, not eligible. Eligible for this. Yeah, so the players that came in or came back from loans as well are eligible for this. So give me your most improved player of the season. Let me see what you guys are saying. Kuro Black, nice to catch you on the live as well. Mohammed asks, what time am I going live tomorrow for the preview? Around the same time. So I usually go after my work hours. So usually around 7 or 8 p.m. UK time. So just keep a lookout. It should be around this time that I went live today. So let's see what you guys are saying. Most improved player. Tommy says Denzel. Interesting shout. I don't know if I would say, I mean, Denzel has improved within the season. That is true. But I think we haven't seen the best of Denzel yet. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the Denzel shout personally. Fat Gandalf is a funny name. Hakan or Denzel. Yeah, Hakan is definitely up there. Hakan, Ricardo, Hakan from Kuro Black. Mehdi says Dumfries. Badr says DiMarco. Again, with DiMarco, I feel like he had a really good year at Hellas Verona last year. I think we ended up with like 5 goals, 5 assists or something like that. Like he had a really good year at Hellas Verona last year. So I don't think he still has reached those potential levels that DiMarco can reach, although he's had a good start. Hakan, because he was very bad in Milan, improved a lot. King Abdullah says, very good point. Perisic is another good shout because Perisic, if we compare Perisic's first 6 months last season, is night and day because, of course, Perisic last year was still trying to adapt to a new role. That was the first time he was playing left wing back under Conte, and he was being rotated between Ashley Young and him. So, yeah, I can see the Perisic shouts for sure. And he's reached like Brozovic, he's reached a new level. Perisic this season. This is, I think, the best season that Perisic has had in an Inter shirt until now. Bastoni, yeah, if you can, I know what you mean because we talked about it. I talked about it on the channel that Bastoni had a shaky start to the season, not just for Inter, for Italy as well. I remember when they played Spain, or like when Italy played in general. And Inter at the beginning as well. When Inter in general defensively weren't great, but Bastoni, I was pointing out that he didn't seem to be at the same level, but he's improved a lot within the season. But I'm more talking about comparison to last season. Dumfries, most improved player. Bahakan, we should move in the most improved jersey. Darmian was good too. Yeah, Darmian was good. But again, I think he had a pretty good end to the last season, didn't he? Darmian, he became really important by the end of last season, even as a substitute. Now, this is an interesting one. Dzeko compared to last season. People forget Dzeko last year, and this is why people were saying that he's finished, especially Roma fans, because this guy, he's already scored the amount of goals he scored last season now. Like, we're halfway through the season, he's already matched his tally from last season. And, that's without talking about the general play that Dzeko has provided. So that is the guy I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards Dzeko because Dzeko literally fell out with Fonseca as well at one point. He was out of the Roma squad completely. Like, he had to apologize. He had to do, what Lukaku's had to do now in terms of apologizing to Fonseca, to the team, because he said something about Fonseca after the that day where he made substitutions. Like, I think he made too many substitutions or something, or the wrong slot. He used up all his slot and he still made a substitution. So it was like a mistake from Fonseca, and Dzeko was like having a go at him in the dressing room, apparently. And yeah, like, he's just a shadow of the player that we saw. Whereas with Hakan still had a good start of the season for Milan. I remember last season he was like, really, really not to this level, definitely not to this level that he's at Inter, but he was a good player for Milan at the beginning of last season, and then he just fell off the face of the earth in the second half of the season, and that's where Milan fans started really hating on him. So I'm going for Dzeko personally. Ooh, Brozovic, interesting. He stopped losing possession in our own half as much, and his passing forwards has improved tremendously. Yeah, he's, I'm not gonna fight you back on that. I don't think he would be the most improved, but he's definitely improved, and that's why he's the player of the season because he's improved. But I don't know if he's the most improved. But it's a good shout. It's a bit left field, but I like it. Hakan is becoming problematic early and then exploded. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know about problematic. I don't know about problematic. Um, I think it was exaggerated at the beginning. I think he was doing okay. I've said that from the beginning. Vidal, I think, is a good shout. And yeah, Vidal is also a good shout. You could say, yeah, because he's becoming a very useful addition off the bench mainly. But I think he's not started enough games for really to call him that improved because he's still, not been fit enough a few times. But yeah, he's a good shout. I think Inzaghi's, when we talk about it, he's improved a lot of players, hasn't he? Thank you. What's up, Mikey, man? Good to see you in the house. The Dzeko deserves a shout. Slotted right in, gave Beppe the ammo to say not much has changed after Lukaku. Yeah, of course. We're loving that. We're loving that. Yeah, he was called some funny names, Perisic for sure. But yeah, he can't be called that. You say Sanchez having his best season in. Yeah, again, but he was injured for a good month and stuff. So, and he's putting up similar numbers. He's not putting up anything like he was good under Conte as well when he used to play under Conte both seasons. His numbers have always been really good. But I just don't think he's played enough to show that he's really been took it to the next level. But yeah, it seems like you guys are really going for Hakan in here. So I might have to deviate. I might have to deviate to public demand. All right, Hakan, there is your most improved player trophy. Enjoy, as per the Uncle Sharma mid-season trophy award ceremony. Yeah, those are the three awards I wanted to really give. I don't want to talk about disappointment of the season, really. I know a few people talked about Correa in there. But Correa, same as like some of the improved players, he's not. I don't think he's played enough to really say that. You could say that maybe that is a disappointment that he got injured too much. But his goal per minute ratio at the moment is really good. He's won 2 games on his own. The 2 matches where he scored the 4 goals, he got the 6 points for us on his own. Both 2 vital goals on both matches. The Napoli match where he got the assist. In general, he's looking to integrate with the team already. His pressing and off the ball stuff integration has been good. Inzaghi said that he was looking really good until he got injured against Roma. So I want to hold off on the negative ones until the end of the season, and we can decide properly on disappointment of the season. And yeah, I agree with Matteo. I think it's unfair to criticize, same as with, Sanchez has been out probably for the same amount of time as Correa as well. So yeah, people said even Barella, but Barella had an amazing start to the season. Like Barella is the top assister in the league with Hakan with 7 assists. He's already improved from last season. You could say that Barella actually is a shout for improvement. He's one of the most improved players actually, because he's improved on what we asked him to do. That more contributions in the final third. He needs to improve the goal part. And the last few weeks and few months we've talked about maybe he's just tired, the Euros fatigue, general, just not being rotated enough, the fatigue in general. And on my channel, I'm a little bit more willing to criticize Barella. I know he's the golden child, the golden boy, but I do try to give him a fair criticism a lot of the times rather than protect him and bubble wrap him. But I don't think Barella's been a disappointment. Let's see. There's still 4 or 5 months of the season left, so I disagree with the Barella being a disappointment of the season until now. But yeah, I'm gonna hold on that award till the end of the season. Thank you for that, guys. And now we can move on to my Serie A team of the season until now. So we're the halfway point for the Serie A, just as we did the awards for Inter. Now we're going to move on to the Serie A awards, and let's see how irate some of you guys get with some of the choices I made. And let me load it up on the screen. And I tried to include. So yeah, as I said, I did try to include the players that I feel like stood out to me in some of the teams. Like I couldn't, leave out some of the top teams. It was hard. Like there's always, of course, we're going to talk about players that deserves a honorable mention, but these are the guys that I really feel like have stood out to me in this beginning of the season in the Serie A. So in goal, I have not gone for Handanovic. I saw a lot of team of the seasons that went for Handanovic, but I think Sergio Romero, as Tommy pointed out earlier, would have been probably the right choice. But one of the key metrics I used to make my decisions in this team was the minutes played. And Romero, and it's not his fault, is because he came a little bit later. Venezia signed him he's a free agent, so they signed him after actually the season began. So he doesn't have as many minutes as the other guys. But Sergio Romero has been an amazing signing. And I think he's got the best post-shot XG in the whole league. I think he's got 3.7, which is the best. He's been really impressive. But I went for Ospina, and I've rewarded consistency in my team more than straight stats or moments of form. I feel like Ospina, he's part of the best defense in the league. And I haven't included any Napoli defender, so I feel like I had to include a Napoli defender in there, or a Napoli, part of the defense of Napoli in there. As Magnon said, as Bader says, Magnon before the injury was probably the runaway candidate. It would have been easy, Mike Magnon before his injury, but he missed more than a month out, so it has to be someone else. I think it can't be Magnon, and I can't pick Handanovic. Watching him on a weekly basis, I just feel like he's not had to face that many shots, whereas Napoli, after losing Koulibaly, after losing loads of players, they've had to they've had this dip in form. So Ospina has been called into action. He's got the same amount of his clean sheets as Handanovic. They're both on 9. He has the third best clean sheet percentage. Sorry, he's got the best clean sheet percentage. He's got the third best shot save percentage. So for me, that's why I put Ospina in there. Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh yes, oh yeah, you're talking. Yeah, let me pull up the comments afterwards. Yeah, seems like no one really has much of a comment on the keeper, so we can move on. And Gerard says Koulibaly should be in there tomorrow. Yeah, so this was one of the bigger decisions I had to make. And again, I went for Tomori over Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly is still the best centre back in the league. I know I said Skriniar, but it's really, for me, it's between Skriniar and Koulibaly, and I can't decide most of the time. Some people think Koulibaly is dead, but this season I think he's really back to his old levels. Like he's back to his best. And yeah, after Koulibaly actually had his injury, Napoli's form has dipped massively. They've conceded the exact same amount of goals as they conceded with Koulibaly, but actually in like half the games. So Koulibaly is still there. But again, my team of the season has been based on on the consistent and how many minutes they played as well. So because he got injured and he got a red card as well against Salernitana, Koulibaly, none of the other centre backs have got a red card. So that is the only reason that I've gone for there. But I think by the end of the season, Koulibaly will probably be in there. And I think he is still the premier centre back in the Serie A, in my opinion. Julian says Tori is a pace merchant, constantly gets turned inside out by simple skill moves. I don't know, man. I disagree. I think people sometimes just look at some clips. Like I know there's that clip out of Tomori getting confused at one point against Napoli where he was getting spun. But Tomori has become the leader of the defense for Milan in such a short period, coming from the Premier League. Like he's adapted so quickly. Some of the recoveries he makes because of his pace as well helps him out so much. He's been, consistently there for Milan pretty much the whole season. That's the reason I've gone for him. And he should be in the England national team, 100%. I don't know what Southgate is doing. Benjamin says Koulibaly was slotting over Bremer, but Bremer. So the reason why I've gone for Bremer again, Koulibaly, it was between Koulibaly. Skriniar was there all along, and I don't think we need to talk about Skriniar. But between Bremer, Tomori, and Koulibaly, I had my kind of more difficult decision to make. And with Bremer, the reason why I've gone for Bremer, he ranks. I mean, whenever I watch Torino, he's outstanding this season. That's why I mentioned him earlier as my potential ideal choice after De Vrij, because he's so aggressive. Like, this guy is so aggressive because, Torino are the most aggressive pressing team in the league, and he's like leads the line for that from the front. He's first in the league for pressures and successful pressures. He's first in the league for aerial duels. He's first in the league for ball recoveries. He's first in the league for interceptions. And he adds 2 goals and an assist to that. And he's the captain of Torino. And Torino, like, third or fourth best defense in the league. And he's big reason for that. So for that reason, I rewarded Bremer. And as I said, for me, the Skriniar decision, complete no-brainer. I think he just had to be there. Best centre-back, most consistent centre-back in the league this season. Brozovic, once again, nothing to discuss there. I've already talked about Brozovic earlier on in my video. His best season at Inter until now in his career. The leader of Inter in the midfield, the metronome, the dictates the tempo. It's just complete midfielder at the moment, Brozovic. And then, another difficult decision in midfield. Fabian Ruiz, I went for him over the likes of Anguissa at Napoli, Zielinski at Napoli. There were the Frattesi at Sassuolo, honorable mention. Ricci at Empoli, another honorable mention. But I think Fabian, 5 goals, 2 assists. Spalletti's just turned his career around. He's reaching those levels that I always thought he could reach. Again, he's potentially a candidate for a Serie A MVP like Brozovic. He also had a little injury, but he still played a lot of minutes, more minutes than Anguissa. So that's why I went for Fabian Ruiz. And Hakan, I mean, again, their honorable mention in the CAM positions. Pellegrini was amazing before his injury. It's a shame that he got injured. Pellegrini for Roma. I think he would have been the number 1 candidate in that position. Pasalic for Atalanta. He's got 7 goals and 5 assists, like crazy stats, almost like, striker stats. He scored like a hat-trick in 1 match. But the Atalanta system, he starts some games, he doesn't start some games, and apart from the goals and assists, he's not too heavily involved. Whereas with Hakan, 6 goals, 7 assists, involved, coming deep, building up, tackling, corners, free kicks, open play goals now as well, open play assists. Like, it's just, and I never imagined that I would be putting Hakan in this halfway point team of the season, but he just deserves it. He just deserves it. Yeah, Ricardo agrees with me in terms of Bremer. Yeah, no Juve player in there. And there was the only doubt I had in terms of Juve, and that shows the fall off of the Juve team, was Quadrado. It was between Quadrado and Candreva. But with Quadrado, he's had some winning goals for Juventus. Like, Juve would be lower in the table if it wasn't for Quadrado this season. But I just had to pick Candreva. Like, the guy is literally, I don't know, Sampdoria were probably in the relegation zone if it wasn't for him. 6 goals, 5 assists, 2.86 key passes per 90, 4.4 shot creating actions, also providing 1.5 interceptions. That right wing back school that Conte gave him at Inter, helping him out. He's just, the leader of that Sampdoria team. And in general, I think he's been more consistent. But Quadrado is definitely misses out very, very narrowly. And of course, like other candidates in there as well. Calabria was another candidate for that position. He also had an injury. Unfortunately, Di Lorenzo, he has not missed a match for Napoli. He's just been, consistent. Hasn't hit the heights of Candreva, Quadrado, the other guys, but he definitely deserves a mention because he's been ever present for Spalletti. A guy that doesn't get injured, always there. You can slot him in a right centre back, right wing back, right back. Like, the guy is just reliable. So I think Di Lorenzo definitely deserves a shout for that reason. Yeah, SMS definitely deserves a shout out as well. But although the stats with SMS is funny this season, the stats with SMS show that he's having a really good season, if not probably his best season until now at Lazio. Um, but when I watch Lazio, he's not looked good. I think he's provided the goals and assists this season, but he's not actually playing that well, in my opinion. But he deserves an honourable shout. And Barella, of course, being the top assister in the league, deserves a shout as well. But his performances over the last few weeks have just dipped too much for me to include Barella. But he deserves an honourable uh, shout as well. Yeah, good point. Bastoni actually deserves a shout as well, of course. But again, as we mentioned earlier on, Bastoni did have a bit of a shaky start to the season. And my team, I've tried to reward who I feel like has been the most consistent to me. Chris disagrees. Feel like Barella should be in there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you too much if you feel like that. But I just feel like his dip over the last few weeks, which is not his fault, but I'm not, here to give charity. This is just my opinion on who has been the most consistent. Just to comment on from the Euro champions made it in the list. Yeah, I mean, the people always talk about, the Euro when they have international tournaments. Usually there is a bit of a burnout, especially from the players that make it to the later stages. That's always been a case. You watch performances of players who've played in World Cups, Euros, the season after. Usually, a lot of them do have a dip. Yeah, exactly. SMS stats are a bit of a catfish. On the left-hand side, Ivan Perisic, just the same as we mentioned with Brozovic, he is having the best season of his life, I think, at Inter. 4 goals, 1 assist. He actually, according to FB Ref, he has 72% dribble completion, which is amazing. He's dribbling. People always used to make fun of his step over and stuff, but it's effective. I've always said, like, it's effective. It works. It just gives him that half a yard to get the cross in. 1.99 aerials one is always so useful in the box, in the opposition box, to score goals. We've seen he scored a couple of goals this season from corners, but also in the defensive area, he's great. He's improved his interception numbers, his tackling numbers. He's become a proper defender. So yeah, I think there was a little bit less competition in this one. Aaron Hickey deserves a shout out for sure on the left back position. The Bologna young midfielder, he was torn apart by Dumfries in the Inter Bologna match, but in general, he's been pretty good, Hickey. And he might actually miss the Inter match. I believe he's tested positive for COVID. Theo Hernandez, of course, honorable mention. He's probably the other main candidate for that position. But I just feel like, once again, Perisic has been super consistent this season. And Theo he's had injuries, he's had some defensive frailties that we know Theo has. Whereas I feel like Perisic has been steady Eddie, plus some real highs. And he's even played up front in the Lazio match. And yeah, and then up front, this was probably the most difficult one, because Vlahovic is there had to be in the Serie A team of the season until now. The top scorer of the league has to be in there. You guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm on the Vlahovic train for more than 2 years. I just thought this guy was going to be the real deal. And he is proving to be the real deal. 16 goals, 2 assists. Improving his game as well in terms of back to goal play, not just the goals. He's improving his general play. And then the other one, it was good. There was lots of options. It could have been Dzeko. It could have been, Simeone. He's got the best goal per minute ratio. But the problem I had with Simeone is that his 12 goals have come in 7 games. So he's only scored out of the 18, 19 games that have been played. He's only scored in half of them. So I think he's at those crazy, high points where he scored one, in one match he scored 4 goals. Very skewed. And in general, when I watch him playing, I don't think he adds too much to the play of Verona as well. The reason why I went for Duvan Zapata, even though his stats might not be, out of this world, I think Atalanta being, in 4th position, I feel like there had to be an Atalanta player in there. And he's the standout Atalanta player for me. 9 goals, 4 assists. I feel like Atalanta is a team I watch a lot, actually, because I've always been a real, fan of how they play. But they've been stuttering, even though they're right up there now. They slowly crept up there, but they've been stuttering this season. But I feel like they've relied very heavily on Zapata, and he stepped up for them. He completes 1.8 dribbles per match, 0.53 goal creating actions. So it means that every 2 matches he creates a goal creating action. The whole play of Atalanta goes through him. He's being like the Lukaku, like, and it's funny that the two guys that I wanted to replace Lukaku, it was either between Zapata and Vlahovic for me, are the guys that I picked. Maybe is just maybe it's like a little bias in my mind. But again, it could have been Dzeko. Dzeko, the impact Dzeko has had, very underrated. Lautaro could be up there as well. 11 goals, man. Like, I know, he's not had, in our eyes, he's not had the greatest season yet. He could improve on that. But I think Lautaro could be up there. Immobile, I think he's got 13 goals. He can be up there as well. Pedro can be up there for sure. I think Pedro has 7 goals or something. Like, he's got some decent numbers. Yeah, Cholito, man, I just don't rate him in general. Maybe I've gone with my bias here, but it's when we're talking about, he's just, what does he add apart from Grinta? And like, he's got some really nice goals. I'm not gonna lie. And if he continues this, he'll be in the team of the season for sure by the end of it. But for now, I just feel like he's going through one of those streaks that some players go through. When he's not scoring, what does he add to the team? Whereas the other guys, I feel like they're adding things even when they're not scoring. Osimhen would have definitely been front runner in this team, but Osimhen, unfortunately, since the Inter match, he's been missing. You've missed more than a month. You can't be in the team of the season if you've missed a month until now. Abraham's also been decent. He's been decent, but he's got the worst, I believe, the worst XG performance in the league. Like, he's missed the most chances compared to what he should be scoring. And he's had some matches where he's been quite bad, but obviously he's still getting used to the league, coming from the Premier League. But yeah, he deserves an honourable mention for sure. And Berardi deserves an honourable mention as well for Sassuolo. He doesn't quite fit into this lineup probably, but Berardi, he missed the beginning of the season, but he's been great for Sassuolo. Antonin Barak also deserves a shout out. Who else did I forget? There's a few guys I wanted to. Oh yeah, Rafael Leao. Someone asked as well. Rafael Leao, he had a great start to the season. He has hit another level this season, but then he's fizzled out, like Milan have a little bit. And I think he's only got like 4 goals, 5 goals. So, he had a great period, but then, only 4 or 5 goals. I struggled to really put him into the team. And any Milan player, actually, I made a team of the season. I think it was the second international break, and that was very Milan heavy. That team that I put in had Theo Hernandez, had Tonali in there, had Magnon in there. I think he had Rafael Leao in there. It was very Milan heavy team I made when it was match day 8 or match day 9. But things have changed since then. Like, in Milan have just fallen off a bit. Oh, Pinamonti. Yeah, we'll give him like a, charity. We'll give him a charity shout. Give him a charity shout. Beto deserves a shout as well. Maybe as like a breakout player of the season. I think him, Frattesi, like Beto, Frattesi, Ricci. You could say, kind of breakout players that you haven't heard about before that have kind of, been impressive. Scamacca deserves a shout, but again, I think he's only got 6 goals, so not I don't think enough to be anywhere near. Deulofeu, yeah, definitely deserves a shout, but again, had a few injury issues here and there. But yeah, guys, that's it from me today. This is a really long string, man. 1 hour 45. Jeez, I was not expecting it to be this long, and you guys have stuck it out with me, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Massimo, for sticking it out. Hope you enjoy your football match. My voice is going. I'm gonna need a big swig of water after this. But yeah, thank you very much for joining, guys. Thank you for your interaction. Inter news, Inter mid-season awards, Serie A mid-season team of the season. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, thank you very much for joining. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Inter Bologna preview. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.